In our town where I live, we all know that Spider-Man lives among us. That's right. No, not the movie poster Spider-Man, the one who swings between skyscrapers with perfect abs and dramatic lighting. Our Spider-Man is about 2 inches shorter than he wishes he was, a little rounder than the costume advertises, and if we're being honest, he has to catch his breath about halfway up a flight of stairs. But then again, most real heroes do. And in fairness, he didn't wake up that morning planning to be somebody's miracle. No, he woke up thinking about his back, wondering if the suit would zip up the way it used to, and why in the world he had said yes to this in the first place. Because that's the thing about bravery. It rarely feels like bravery in the moment. Most of the time, it just feels inconvenient, awkward, unprepared, or too ordinary to matter. And yet, that's usually when it shows up, right? So, down at the hospital, there was a little boy spending his birthday in the oncology ward. And the hallway was quiet, the kind of quiet that echoes. Oh, the nurses had balloons, and the family had cupcakes, and there was kindness in every gesture that day. But sometimes even the best intentions don't always feel like magic. So the boy sat on his bed, looking out the window, his feet dangling over the side, staring out at a sky that didn't know it was his birthday, somehow hoping the world might surprise him anyway. And that's when he heard it, a soft tap on the glass. He turned his head, and there, outside on the suspended window washing platform, stood none other than Spider-Man. Not leaping, not swinging, just standing there in the sunlight, pressed to the glass like he had only come for him. Spider-Man pointed to the boy and then pointed to his own heart, and then he struck a crooked little muscle pose like, "Hey, buddy, look at us, still strong." The boy pressed his hand to the window. Spider-Man pressed his hand right back. 2 hands, just one pane of glass. And somehow, it was enough to hold hope. They stayed like that longer than a wave, long enough for courage to breathe. Then the platform began to move on. Spider-Man gave one last slow nod and disappeared from view. The boy's shoulders sank. Because in hospitals, magic has a way of leaving quietly. Now, time passed, the kind of time measured in monitor beeps and soft footsteps and the rustle of nurses' shoes. And then there was a gentle knock on the door. The nurse cracked it open and whispered, "Sweetheart, Spider-Man's here. Asked if he could come in. Would that be okay? Came all the way from outside just to see you." Boy's whole face lit up. He nodded so hard, the balloons on his bed trembled. And then carefully, quietly, by the rules, without theatrics, Spider-Man slipped inside. Same suit, same mask, same man, just a different doorway. The boy did not walk. He launched himself into Spider-Man's arms and held on like the world had finally remembered his name. And in that moment, the boy believed in magic again. And so did Spider-Man. Because sometimes the miracle isn't how you arrive. It's that you cared enough to take the long way and show up anyway. Later that night, Spider-Man sat at his kitchen table, sore, exhausted, and quieter than usual. And he reached into his pocket and he pulled out something he'd forgotten was even in there, a small coin, just a challenge coin, simple, worn, and on one side it had carried the question, what would you do if You were brave. Earlier that day, he had not felt brave. No, he'd felt ordinary, tired, behind on emails, late on errands. But sitting there in that dim kitchen light, he finally understood bravery isn't always loud. It doesn't always look heroic. Sometimes it's a man in a wrinkled costume who almost didn't go, but did. Sometimes it's a quiet decision to say, this moment's mine, and I'm going to step into it. And I think here's where the story isn't really about Spider-Man anymore. It's about us, all of us. Because we all have days where our work feels routine, ordinary, invisible. Days when the magic leaks out of what we do. When we forget that our effort, our presence, our yes might be the moment someone else has been waiting for. That without even realizing it, sometimes you are the tap on someone's window. You're the steady voice, the encouraging glance, or just the kindness that lands at the right time. The reason someone believes again in themselves, in possibility, in what this work can still mean. And the wild part is that on the days you think you're just doing your job, you might actually be changing a story. On the days you've forgotten why your work matters, you may still be the reason someone else remembers. That's the magic. It's not in the costume. It's not in the title. It's not in the job description. It's in being brave enough to show up, even on the days you don't feel like a hero. Even on the days the world looks ordinary. Even, or maybe especially, on the days you forgot to believe. Now, go zip up that suit. Tap on someone's window. They're waiting.
You didn't wake up feeling brave. Didn't feel like much that day. Just a man in borrowed shoes, doing the best he knew to do. Not faster than a speeding train. Didn't fly, didn't save the day. Showed up when he could have ran. That's an ordinary Spider-Man. No spotlight, no big parade. Just a quiet yes he almost didn't say. Turns out the magic isn't who you are. Showing up right where you stand. That's an ordinary Spider-Man. Some days the world feels small and warm, magic thin, belief torn. But hope still finds a way to land in an open heart, an outstretched hand. Not faster than a speeding train. Didn't fly, didn't save the day. Showed up when he could have ran. That's an ordinary Spider-Man. No spotlight, no big parade. Just a quiet yes he almost didn't say. Turns out the magic isn't who you are. Showing up right where you stand. Maybe it's you, maybe it's me, maybe it's every ordinary human being. Still choosing brave, still saying yes, still believing there's magic left. Not faster than a speeding train, didn't fly, didn't save the day, showed up when he could have ran. That's an ordinary Spider-Man. No cape required, no perfect plan, just heart and hope in human hands. Turns out the magic isn't who you are, it's showing up right where you stand. That's an ordinary Spider-Man. Some days the hero is just the one who stays.